Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tackling a massive digital threat that affects absolutely every single one of us. We are putting together the ultimate 2026 cybersecurity checklist, 7 steps to total data privacy. So whether you're a seasoned IT veteran or you're literally just looking for cybersecurity for beginners, we're going to walk through exactly how to build an unbreakable digital fortress. To truly grasp why data protection matters so much right now, we really have to look at the sheer scale of the playing field. The global population sits at about 8.1 billion people. Out of that, a staggering 66%, that's over 5.35 billion people, are active internet users. And that includes everyday folks like you and me, massive corporations, government agencies, and yes, cybercriminals. And trust me, those cybercriminals, they are incredibly busy. Last year alone, 80% of companies reported being hit by cyber attacks. Let that sink in for a second. 80%. We're not just talking about minor computer glitches here either. These attacks range from serious financial fraud and sensitive information leaks to full-blown state-sponsored online terrorism using hacking, phishing, and malware. I love how one of our sources perfectly frames this. Data is the lifeblood of a modern IT system. It's the crown jewels. It really is your organization's secret sauce. It's your intellectual property, it's your highly sensitive customer information, and ultimately, it's your money. If we aren't actively protecting this data, well, the cyber criminals are already winning, and it's your bottom line that's going to pay the price. So how exactly do we protect those crown jewels? Well, we follow a definitive 6-pillar framework: governance, discovery, protection, compliance, detection, and response. And as you'll see, mastering these first 6 leads us directly to a crucial 7th step. Okay, let's dive right into step 1, governance. This is all about establishing your data policy. Before you go out and buy a single piece of software, you have to have a data governance policy. Skipping this step is literally like running a marathon without knowing where the finish line is. Your policy is what defines your classification tiers. You need to clearly label what is highly confidential and what is just unclassified. Because honestly, your company's financial records need vastly different protection than the cafeteria's weekly lunch menu. Moving right along to step 2, data discovery. You've got to know where your data lives. Here is a fundamental truth of cybersecurity for you. You absolutely cannot protect what you can't find. You have to look everywhere. You've got your structured data, the obvious stuff sitting neatly in your databases. But then you have unstructured data. This is the really tricky, sensitive information hiding out in random files, buried deep in old emails, or even flying completely unnoticed across your network. Finding all of it isn't optional, it's mandatory. Which brings us to step 3, advanced protection. Time to implement multi-layered security. So, you know the rules, you found where the data is, and now we have to lock it down. The reality of 2026 is that breaches are gonna happen, but with multi-layered protection, the bad guys won't actually be able to read what they steal. First off, encryption is totally non-negotiable. But here's the massive catch. If you encrypt your data but lose the keys, you've just locked yourself out entirely. That is exactly why secure key management is essential, and it has to be combined with multi-factor authentication, or MFA, and secure backups. All right, step 4, smart compliance and retention. It is all about reducing your attack surface. It is human nature to hoard things, right? I mean, we all have that one random drawer full of old charging cables at home. But in cybersecurity, hoarding data massively increases your risk. The golden rule here is incredibly simple. If you don't need it, get rid of it. You absolutely must set strict retention policies to destroy outdated records. That way, you're eliminating a vulnerability before a hacker ever gets the chance to exploit it. Now for step 5, anomaly detection. You have to monitor for data misuse. Even with the most amazing defenses, you have to assume someone might just slip through the cracks. And this is exactly where user behavior analytics comes into play. It quietly tracks how your users interact with data day to day. So if an employee who normally downloads maybe 5 files a day suddenly downloads 5,000 files at 3 a.m., yeah, that is a huge anomaly. Triggering alerts the exact moment behavior shifts like that is very often the very first sign of a system breach. Next up is step 6, dynamic response. We're talking orchestrated and automated action here. When those alarms do inevitably go off, panic is definitely not a strategy. Your team needs to know exactly what to do. To handle this efficiently, smart teams use dynamic playbooks. Think of these as incredibly smart, step-by-step digital guides. When an alert triggers, the playbook guides the analyst. What actually makes it dynamic is that the instructions for Step 2 adopt entirely based on the specific outcome assessed back in Step 1. Now, within this response phase, we really have to recognize the difference between orchestration and automation. You want to automate your expected routine cybersecurity responses, so your system just handles them instantly in the background. But you used orchestration for those truly unique, first-of-a-kind situations where you really need human intuition and complex problem solving to investigate what's going on. And finally, we arrive at Step 7, the holistic ecosystem. This is where we build a virtuous cycle. Listen, if you take only one single thing away from this explainer today, please let it be this. True data privacy is never a one-time setup. It's a living, continuous loop. Your response stage identifies exactly where your security failed. You then feed that information right back to the very beginning to adjust your governance policies. That updated policy then upgrades how you handle data discovery, which automatically improves your protection, and so on. It is a brilliant, virtuous cycle of constant improvement. To actually make this holistic ecosystem function, you need what we call the security trifecta. You simply cannot rely on software alone. You need good people who are trained and hyper-aware. You need structured processes, like those dynamic playbooks we talked about. And you need the right technologies, having the proper architecture working smoothly together. Integrating all three of these is really the only reliable way to keep unauthorized users out for good. So as we look towards Cybersecurity 2026 and beyond, I want you to ask yourself a serious question. Are you truly treating your data like the crown jewels they are? Or are you just running a race without a finish line, crossing your fingers and hoping you don't get hit? Take these 7 steps, secure your organization's lifeblood data, and turn yourself from an easy target into an absolute fortress. Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and hey, stay safe out there in the digital world.